You are currently the only person in this conference.
Hello, Baz and Charlotte. Julian here. I just thought I'd check in to make sure that you have everything that you need or need any assistance.
Hi. Hi there, Julian. Um, yes, I think I have. Everything is okay, so.
Cool. Well, obviously, you've probably seen what I've done to this site with Bootstrap. I'm actually going to be not just introducing you, but happily hanging around to actually learn from you as well. So, look, obviously,
Cool.
we've got some time up our sleeves before things commence, but yeah, I'll be around to help out if needed.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Are you going to share your camera or did you want to stay incognito?
Yes, I did try it. It worked, so I'll try again.
No, that's cool. No,
Um,
no, no. As long as you've tried it and it works, that's not a problem. I'll leave you to it.
okay. Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Hi, Bas. This is Fred. I just wanted to make sure your audio was okay. You want to just do a quick check?
Yeah, okay. Let's try.
Sounds good.
I'm going to share my camera too, so.
It's a little faint. Could you move the microphone a little bit closer to your ear? Oh, Julie already checked it out. Okay, I'll let it go.
My headset, so.
Sorry.
Is it okay like this?
Not bad.
Okay. So, can everybody hear me? Okay, great. Well, great. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to this presentation on building with Bootstrap. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat sometimes, but I'll just continue talking. And if you want to say something or have a question, just raise your hand. That would help. So this presentation is on building with Bootstrap. And first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. Well, my name is Bas Brands. I'm from the Netherlands, and I've been a Moodle developer since 2009. And well, I've been developing various bits of Moodle. I've been doing Moodle installations, doing a Moodle module development, blocks, and themes, of course. Well, after some time working with themes, I thought it might be a good idea to do a Bootstrap theme. So more on that later. This presentation will be on the Bootstrap theme, how it was developed and how it is evolving. The future of Moodle is exciting, and I think that the Bootstrap theme could help developers create user interfaces easily, and developers don't need to have many design skills to be able to do something like that. So in this presentation, I'll be using some terms that you might not be familiar with. First of all, there's the Twitter Bootstrap framework. And that's the Twitter Bootstrap framework available from bootstrap.github.com. That framework was used to create the Bootstrap theme, and that's the thing on itself. That's used for creating other types of applications and stuff like that. So when I say Twitter Bootstrap or Bootstrap, I refer to the Twitter Bootstrap framework. So we have the Twitter Bootstrap theme as well, and that's the theme I created for Moodle that's based on Bootstrap. Now in Moodle 2.5, we have the Bootstrap theme, and we have something called Theme Clean. And Theme Clean is the theme that you should select in 2.5 if you want to use Bootstrap. So Bootstrap uses CSS, of course, and that's built with less CSS. And less CSS is not CSS that browsers can read, but it's object-oriented CSS that needs to be compiled before you can use it. Then Node.js. Node.js is a server-side JavaScript framework, and you could install it on your desktop or server to use it. To use Bootstrap, you don't have to use Node.js, but if you are a developer and want to go into changing Bootstrap, you need it. And Recess is one of the tools that you install that uses this framework, and that's actually the tool that generates the CSS from the left file. So that's the technical stuff. Let's move on to the history of this theme. Well, obviously, I was not the only one developing on this theme. There have been a lot of people involved, especially in developing the one that's in core right now. But the idea of having this theme was born on the UK-Ireland Moodle Meet, where I sat down with Stuart Lemure, and he showed me some of the Bootstrap coolness, and we decided to do a theme with that. Well, we started off, and development started kind of slow, and it took a lot of time. And then David Scottson started doing a Bootstrap theme as well, and he did some really clever things with the menus and the usage of less. And I decided to contact him and see if we could work together. And well, that worked out really well. And me and David continued the development of the theme and did a lot of work on getting it ready to be adopted into Moodle Core. So that was the UK Ireland Moodle Moot 2012. And on the Moot 2013, there was a Moodle Hackfest where we discussed the options of having the Bootstrap theme as one of the core themes for Moodle. That was a discussion of a couple of hours with some people that are really into Moodle development, and for instance, Andrew Nichols and Martin Yugiyamas was there, and Tim Hunt had really great ideas. So that was a really successful meeting. And after that, well, the integration process started. Well, that was something else. It took a lot of time, but we finally made it. So the theme, Bootstrap theme, is now available in 2.5, and as I told before, the Bootstrap theme is called Bootstrap Base, and it cannot be selected as your theme in Moodle 2.5. To use Bootstrap, you need to select the theme clean, and that theme builds on the Bootstrap theme. So that integration into Moodle Core was, as I told you, was something else. At points, I would get 100 emails a day of notifications from the Moodle tracker, and it would drive me crazy sometimes, but I really did learn a lot from that. And some of the people that were really helpful in having it integrated were, of course, Martin Yugiyamas, Dan Marston, Andrew Nichols, and Mary Athens. So now that we have it into Moodle Core, it's interesting to know what is Bootstrap. So Twitter Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is a framework for building user interfaces for web applications. And the introduction on the Bootstrap website says it's by nerds for nerds. Well, these are the nerds that created Twitter Bootstrap. Jacob Thornton and Mark Otto. They are really active Twitter, so you should check out their Twitter accounts. And well, if they ever hear this, thank you very much for creating Twitter Bootstrap. It's awesome. So what does Twitter Bootstrap provide? Well, a number of things. And what you see on this slide is certainly not everything. It's just a few of the options that Twitter Bootstrap provides. So, for instance, we have icon glyphs, and these icons are icons that you can easily use when you program a bit of code. You, for instance, have an element with a class of icon heart, and it would show you the icon heart from the Bootstrap framework. So these are just big image files that have all the icons, and the Bootstrap CSS makes sure that the right icon shows in your page. What else? Well, we have buttons, so that's base CSS, we have labels, there's much more. There's some interactive stuff too. For instance, the drop-downs that you might have noticed in Bootstrap themes, they come from Bootstrap and the Bootstrap framework, and they're really easy to implement. And there's some nice JavaScript stuff there too. For instance, the one that you see in the bottom right of the presentation slide, that's a type of head kind of input field. If you type some data in there and there's a data structure that has that element, it will just show that in the drop-down list. So that could be really cool for instance, for searching. So then, what is a Moodle theme? Well, a Moodle theme is something quite powerful and complex. Basically, it just styles and positions the HTML that is outputted by Moodle. Bootstrap Moodle themes contain PHP, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. And well, since 1.9 to 2, there have been a lot of changes, and the themes have become more powerful. So not only do they style the output of Moodle, you're also able to control the output in Moodle. So you can change HTML, and you can even add functionalities to the theme. And because of that, because of those options, we were able to build a theme based on Bootstrap. This is a screenshot of my theming .conspegmedia.nl, and it shows you the Bootstrap theme. Most of you have seen it because, as far as I know, the iMoot website has been built on Bootstrap as well. But this theme is just a clear, basic theme that uses standard Bootstrap styling and standard Bootstrap functionalities without adding any extra features to it. So it's basically a mixture between Moodle-based CSS and Bootstrap-based CSS. So this only holds unmodified Bootstrap CSS. And of course, it works on mobile. I think that's really cool. One of the reasons it works on mobile is because of the Bootstrap grid. I'll be telling you a bit more about that later. So moving on from that base theme, there are themes that you can build on top of Bootstrap, and you can change a lot. For instance, this is a screenshot of a theme I call Theme Red, and it's a basic theme, but it has some really different options. And for instance, if you notice the top navigation bar, it has the name of the website, then it has the custom menu items, and then you have the drop down for languages, which is also in Bootstrap 4. Then you have a My Modules, which shows you a drop down list of modules you have active in your course, and a module menu, which shows you the courses you're enrolled. Oh, that's reversed. The My Modules is the courses you're enrolled in, and the module menu shows you the course sections or course topics. Then you have a drop down for profiles, and that's your profile information. So that's the information that will come from the navigation block. And then the entire settings block has been added to the top menu too. So you can drop down from the settings block, and you can use all the Moodle settings that are available. So this theme is responsive, of course. So if you use it on a tablet, the drop-down menu works a little different. You just have a button, and if you click that, it opens up this drop-down with the same links that you would have in the desktop view. So, okay. My sound's not too good, or? Hope this works. Just spinning around a little bit. Okay. I'll use my laptop. Oh wow, 200% better. Wow. Okay. Wow, sorry about that. Okay, let's move on. So as you noticed, this theme also has the docking that the standard Bootstrap theme does not have yet. And it'll probably be a feature for 2.6, but it did take quite a lot of work to get it going because some of the JavaScript that's used for docking really relies on the standard Moodle theme layout, and Bootstrap obviously doesn't have that standard layout. Okay, some other themes I built. This is an example of a theme that uses Bootstrap as well, and what I did here was adding in notifications element that shows you the pending messages you have on your Moodle site. So if somebody sends you a message, you would just get a number there showing you have a message.
And well, the rest of it is mainly just styling it. So this is another one I made for the Aalborg University. It uses something that Gareth, I think, was talking about a while ago. It uses the font awesome icon set. And font awesome is an icon set you can add to Bootstrap, and it will just build on the Bootstrap framework and add in SVG icons that you can easily select. This front page also has site news. It's a bit hard to read, so it'll probably need some more designing. But actually, the site news uses the Bootstrap Carousel to display, and the Bootstrap Carousel is typically used to show images you'd have on the front page. I think the iMoot site might use something similar, and you can click through them or they auto-slide. So this will just show you the front page news and slide through it using the Bootstrap Carousel. So this is another screenshot of that Aalborg theme. As you can see, somebody clicked on the help button and it shows you a drop down with the help information. And the nice thing is that this is built on Bootstrap as well, so this will work responsively as well. If you have an iPhone, you can click help and it will just show the information beneath each other. And it wasn't really hard to build. I used the Bootstrap navigation and the Bootstrap grid to create this. So, well, let's have a look at some Bootstrap code. If you're not a developer or you don't know any HTML, still this should not be too complicated, because this is actually the HTML you need to create one drop-down menu in a navigation bar. And if you don't know any HTML, this is not a lot of code. It's all you need to do to make it work. So you don't have to write complicated JavaScript or complicated CSS to make it work. That's done by the Bootstrap, Twitter Bootstrap framework. All you need to do is add in these bits of HTML and you can create awesome looking elements in your web page. So let's move on to less. And less is something that's been discussed a lot during the integration of the Bootstrap theme. And that's because less is something very different from standard CSS. Actually, it's a smarter way of writing CSS code. Is there anybody in here that's already experimented with less or Sass? Okay, Julian, yes. Okay, Gareth. Okay, well, I'm not going to go in depth in how less works, because if you want to learn less, you just need to read the lesscss.org website. And it's a long website, but so I did, and it was enough to get me started. So, and here's an example of some less CSS code. In regular CSS, you would always have the descriptor name or the class name here, and then the brackets, and then the styling that's within that. With less CSS, you can nest stuff. So you can nest other classes within classes, and that's just one of the features it has. It also provides you the ability to create functions in CSS. For instance, if you want to do a rounded corner or something more difficult that maybe is not supported by all browsers, you could just create a function that you could use to, for instance, do a border. And if I would write border and then brackets around it and say 0, it would just output the CSS for a 0 border or something similar. And you can use variables. For instance, if you use colors that you want to use on different elements in your CSS, you could just create a variable called add red, and then add the color code for red, and then use that variable in your CSS code. And after you compile it, it will just show you the standard CSS, and you could use that to create your theme. For Bootstrap, for modifying Bootstrap, you don't have to learn less, or you don't have to learn how to code with less. But it is a good idea. If you do create Moodle themes a lot, it'll be a great time saver, and make sure that your code is consistent and has less errors. So for the Moodle Bootstrap theme, we've created a couple of less files that you see in this screenshot, and those less files are used to extend the Bootstrap less files. So in this screenshot, you see the contents of the theme, and it has all the regular theme elements, the config, a JavaScript folder, language, the layout file, a less folder that's not standard, pics, styles, and renderers. The less folder is not used in Moodle, and it's not used by your browser as well. It's just there for developers. And you will find it in the Bootstrap-based theme, but you will not find it in the clean theme. So this less folder contains one file called moodle.less, and that file controls all less files you have. It combines them and makes sure that if you compile the code, it will just generate one file that's called moodle.css, and it will copy it to the style folder, and it will just be a regular CSS folder. So that's the Moodle files, and most of these Moodle files come from the Moodle-based theme, and we've rewritten some of them to have this less structure. And there's an even bigger folder called Bootstrap, and this folder contains all the Bootstrap less files that come from the Bootstrap project. We have not modified any of them, so they're just the standard Bootstrap less files, and if we wanted to change some of it, we use the Moodle less files. So, and we've done that, of course, because the Twitter Bootstrap framework is evolving, and if we want to be able to support a future release of Bootstrap version 3, we can just copy over the new less files and then recompile the Moodle CSS. So before I continue with boot swatches, are there any questions on less or the Bootstrap theme that you might like to ask? If not, I'll just continue. Okay. So let's move on to boot swatches. Boot swatches are a really cool feature of Bootstrap. And oh, Gareth asked, how many changes have you made to the core Bootstrap? Well, none. It's untouched. So the less files that we've used are untouched, and we didn't change anything. So, of course, to make sure that we can upgrade to a new version of Bootstrap. So, again, the boot swatches. Well, boot swatches are themes for Twitter Bootstrap. And yeah, so there's a website called bootswatch.com that contains some sample themes that you can easily download, and there's a lot of themes that you can buy for just a few dollars each that allow you to style and create custom Bootstrap themes. So usually these boot swatches contain only two files, and that's a bootswatch.las and a variables.las. And these two files control the way the theme looks. So the bootswatch.las actually contains all the extra CSS you would like to add to the theme. For instance, in Moodle, we have a course overview of on the front page, or the course category list, and you could modify that list to have more CSS and to float things differently. And if you want to have something like that, you'd add it into the boot_swatch.las. And notice this is for advanced development. And then we have a variables.las, and that variables.las contains all the variables that Bootstrap uses, and you can override them using that variables.las file. And if I go back to the screenshot here, you notice that there's already a folder called Bootswatch in here. And this is actually a screenshot of the Moodle 2.4 version of the theme. And if you would like to fiddle around and try one of the Bootswatches, it's easy to use that version of the theme because you can simply copy over the Bootswatch and the variables.las you download from bootswatch.com or wherever, and you can just put them in there and it'll work if you recompile. So these variables are really important to Bootstrap because they do not only control the colors that you use and the fonts and the sizes of elements, they also control when the responsiveness takes action. For instance, if you would like to have a menu that collapses only on an iPhone, for instance, you could set the variable for the navigation collapse to be, for instance, 420 pixels or something. We had some complaints on our GitHub website that I think David Scottson responded to about the gutter between the elements. For instance, you have the course content and then you have the blocks, and the distance between the blocks and the course content might look really big or might be really big. And using this variables file, you can just set it to a couple of pixels and it will just always be like that. So that's the power of these files. And actually, for all the themes I create based on Bootstrap, I create a Bootswatch and a variables that will just do all the styling for the theme. So this is a sample of a Bootswatch that I simply downloaded from bootswatch.com. This one's called United. I added it into Bootstrap, then ran my compiler, that's the Recess compiler, and then generated the new CSS, and that only took me 5 minutes to do. So, and this theme contains some custom fonts that come from Google and custom colors, custom link colors, things like that. And I've done some experimenting with my own Bootswatches just to see how far I could go with it and create something ugly. So this uses stuff that comes from the OK Focus web design company from New York, and I really love their work. I think they do crazy and fun stuff. For instance, they created this font called Comic Sans Pixelated or something, and extra JavaScript that puts some nice shades behind things. So you can create beautiful stuff and ugly stuff. So the future of Bootstrap. I think that now we have Bootstrap, we can really improve the Moodle user interface. And that's because we're not the only ones using Bootstrap. There's so many. Yes, that's it, Julian. Yeah, have a look over there after this session. So the reason that it's really cool to have Bootstraps because there's a lot of development going on around Bootstrap, and we're certainly not the only ones using Bootstrap. There's many out there that create stuff for Bootstrap, add new scripts or add new functions, and I already showed you a bit about Font Awesome, but there's, I think, 5 of them out there that create custom icon sets for Bootstrap. There's custom carousels. There's all these custom web design elements that are available. And for this session, I just tried a few of them and see what I can do with just a few hours of work. And for instance, I think the standard Moodle TinyMCE editor is really powerful, but it just looks a bit old, especially when you compare it to CMSs like WordPress. Those user interfaces of the editors look a lot better. And I took a project from a Bootstrap website that just styles the editor for you in a Bootstrap way. And to do this, I could not theme it, but I could add it as a theme for TinyMCE, and that's all I needed to do for this. So I thought that was pretty cool. Another example is using a kind of collapsed topics format. So in Moodle, you can create your own course formats, and I think Garrett will do a presentation on that. And the Twitter Bootstrap framework offers you some tools to create these kinds of elements. And well, this format will help you keep everything in view of the page. And if you click, for instance, on topic 1, that one will expand, and topic 2 will just collapse again. And creating this took me half an hour. It's not as powerful as the collapsed topics format because that remembers stuff and does a lot more. And actually, if you turn editing on and you start moving topics, they disappear. So this will need some work, but I think it's cool. Well, another option for future development is adding things like course progress bars. And that course progress bars actually is an animated thing in a real life situation. It's small, but it can really enhance your Moodle site. You could also have galleries, and we could use the carousel that flips through the images, or you could use the grid to create or show images to your users. So well, this is a grid of 3 blocks, and the standard Bootstrap framework offers you a grid of 12 blocks. So I just simply added in some images, added in some HTML that uses these 4 blocks, and well, you have 12 columns in the standard Bootstrap grid. So each of these images uses 4 columns of that grid, and then Bootstrap takes care of the rest. So if you look at this on an iPhone, the images will be positioned beneath each other. The other thing I really like is the type ahead feature. And just recently, I discovered a course or search block that's been created for Bath University. And below this screenshot, you'll find a link to that block. And if you type in part of a course name or course description, it will show you a drop down with some courses. So, well, this shows a drop down, and it really looks very similar to one of the Twitter Bootstrap core features. So rebuilding this to fit Twitter Bootstrap would be really cool, although I think it works really nice like this too. And of course, we have Flippy. Yay! I've been trying to get Flippy into core, but without success, unfortunately. This is actually a project I did just for fun to try and have a Clippy block in Moodle. And this uses jQuery and some nice libraries to create this. So I thought that might be cool, a fun thing. Not really serious though. So yeah, more future plans. Well, we already have a grid kind of course format, but Bootstrap offers the functionality to add a model, and that's a thing where you click a button and it will just work like the grid format. It will just have something lay over your current page with a grayed out background and a really visual and really good to read midsection of the page containing the content. And that will be really easy to do with the Bootstrap framework. Well, something to embed HTML5 video, more HTML5 features, because, well, Bootstrap uses a lot of HTML5 tags, and Moodle now supports HTML5, so it would be cool to have something like that in there. The guys from OK Focus made a really nice tool to embed videos into websites, and that's called embedshit.com, I think. So having something like that for Moodle would be cool. The carousel for images. So if you upload a set of images, it will just display the carousel. I think that might be a nice feature. For instance, for on your front page, that might have a nice visual impact. And then now that we have 2.5 and we have course images, it would be really cool to have a home page with a grid of images that you could tap or click to go into one of the courses, because I really find it difficult to be able to press links on a phone or on an iPad. You really have to be really precise to hit the right link. And if you have a button, that's a lot easier. That's why they have buttons on phones. So if we could use those images to create a Bootstrap-based grid of icons of courses, I think that might be awesome. So if you want to learn more about Bootstrap, well, just recently O'Reilly has published a book on Bootstrap. There's a lot of Moodle docs pages on Bootstrap, well, a few. And I'll be blogging about this presentation with more explanation on how to do things with boot swatches and how less works. So at the end of the iMoot Congress, I'll be publishing my blog post, so you can read more there. So here's some links that's in on my blog posts and that you could use after this meeting or a session. I think the most fun one to watch is the bootsnip.com, because that contains a big list of features that could be added to Bootstrap and would help you figure out ways or give you ideas of what to do with Bootstrap and how to develop with it, or ask your developers to create something cool from Bootstrap. So that's already the end of the presentation. Thank you all very much for attending, and special thanks to David Scottson, Stuart Lamour, Mary Evans, Paul Hibbets, Martin Dugiamus, and the iMoot organizers. So let's, there's plenty of time left. So if you have any questions, use your mic or type it in the chat window, and I'll be happy to try and answer them.
I'm just going to quickly grab the mic first. First of all, as an iMoot organizer, to say, Bas, thank you so much for coming. The work that you and the team have done on Bootstrap, you're going to revolutionize Moodle as an OS, and this is just the beginning. And where you guys want to take it, I hadn't even noticed, I hadn't actually looked in depth at the Bootstrap folder to actually see that less was in there, and that you guys actually built it to be able to extend is just absolutely brilliant and fills me full of ideas.
Julian, I think, well, those demo themes are, some of them are available. For instance, the one from Groudly, I made that for a customer and it contains their styling and images, so I won't be able to share that. But my goal is to continue creating themes based on Bootstrap, and the things I learned from that and the things that are, I think, an added feature for Moodle can end up into the Moodle Bootstrap-based theme. Of course, it goes through integration and that entire process, but I'll be happy to share those functionalities. For instance, the docking is quite a tricky feature, and it will not work on all Bootstrap-based themes. So your Moodle site has to be configured right to make it work. So, well, I'm happy to share. So yeah. Gareth, so for Boots, what is in Moodle 2.5? Yes, that's a complicated one because the Bootstrap base theme is the theme that you actually should not touch. You should create your own theme based from clean. So I think the best option would be to create your own theme based on the 2.4 theme, or make a copy of the clean theme and add in the less files and create your own CSS. So the reason why you should not be modifying Bootstrap base or making a copy of it is because of the JavaScript that's in there. Simply making a copy of it and renaming it like you would do in a regular theme would break the JavaScript that's in there. So I think you're best off just modifying the 2.4 theme because that stays in sync with the Bootstrap base theme. So if there's no more questions, thanks all for attending. Paul Hibbets will be doing another presentation on Bootstrap, and that's more on the usability aspects of it and the design aspects and mobile usage, stuff like that. And that might be really interesting. So stick around for that. And well, have fun the rest of the mood. Thanks all.
You are currently